everyone, Justine Leslie here, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I help sensitive, awakened, and empathic souls intuitively navigate this crazy world and help to empower themselves. Okay, so one way I do that is I put out angel numbers and their meanings. I know it can drive everybody crazy when they see consistent numbers, especially on clocks, license plates, anywhere, basically anywhere you can see numbers. That's the best way for angels to communicate to us. It's an interesting way, but it is the way. So I'd like to do this series of interpreting what exactly they mean. So today I'm actually going to interpret the most common one, 1111. Definitely the most common. Definitely the one that a lot of people see most often, I would say. And it shocks me that some people don't even know what it means. So I'm going to jump into maybe two or three. They blend a little bit, reasons of why you're seeing 1111. So let me just jump right into it. So number one is the most obvious, at least to me, is that when we have a spiritual awakening, that's when we start seeing 1111. And the reason why we do that is because this is the quintessential number to let us know that we are on the aligned path. Now, let me talk about this a little bit. I say the aligned path, and you notice I don't say the right path, right? Because I actually don't believe we're on a right path or a wrong path. I think we're always just on the path, which means that everything that we do is going to lead us to the lessons that we need to learn in this lifetime. We've already signed our soul contracts before we got here. We're already on a mission. We already have things kind of set out for us to learn as far as lessons go. So it really kind of doesn't matter almost what path that we take. However, there are more aligned paths, which means that we are really doing stuff that the soul but the soul desires, right? So anytime we get like this spike in doing what the soul really desires, we see that 1111. So if that means that, and like I said, it comes usually after awakenings. Because why? Because usually when we wake up in this lifetime, there's a reason why we do it. There's a ton of reasons why people have awakenings: traumas, childbirth, near-death experiences, things like that. But we, again, going back to the soul contract, we signed a soul contract knowing that we were going to wake up in this lifetime. So that's why the 1111 shows up, is that, hey, this is the aligned path. This is what was intended for you to do, is to wake up, even if we're kicking and screaming and we don't want to, right? At least that was my experience. Very, very grateful for my awakening, 100%, but it was very, very hard without any warning, and I wasn't sure what was happening to me, right? I usually put out videos about my awakenings. I put one out if you guys want to check that out. But so anyway, so we usually see that when that happens because automatically we are on more of an aligned path. So this 1111, so my awakening was 7 years ago. Even when things happen to us and we change direction, we can also see 1111. Because why? Because it's telling us that we're on the aligned path. So that actually means that, for example, if you quit a job and you're very worried, if like you quit like this very high paying job and you're like, oh crap, like I don't know how I'm gonna pay my bills, but I hated this job and it was sucking the life out of my soul. And then you start seeing 1111. Take that as such a good sign that you did the aligned thing, that you really moved into the direction of what your soul is calling for. So the truth is, guys, we can never be on the wrong path, but we can be on an aligned path. And that's what 1111 is really kind of about. It's about that. And to connect this with the next thing I'm going to say, because they're all connected, I feel like they're all kind of the general same reason, is that, yeah, your angels are like, yeah, like I see you on that aligned path. I almost said the right path, the aligned path. But the other thing too could be that how do I say this? That we are awakened to our soul's calling. Yes, that's kind of what I was talking about, but also the awareness that we're not alone. And that means that 1111 can definitely happen when we have some realization of God, universe, source energy, that kind of thing. So this could definitely come up when we've been praying a lot, right? And this is what I'm talking about after the awakening, right? It doesn't just come out of nowhere. So it's usually after our awakening, and it's been several years for our awakening, and we're wondering why we saw 11:11, and we're like, hey, our awakening was like, 7, 8, 10 years ago, whatever it is. It's really kind of coming up to show us that, again, we are on a line path, so any decisions that we make, but also because we get closer to God or universe or our angels. And this could happen with like days of praying, right? So here's the other thing too. Just because you have an awakening doesn't make us a perfect person. So that means that we can be doing a lot of things that are misaligned, especially many years after our awakening, right? We're only human, right? We get our egos back, right? We're only human. We're making decisions the best that we can. Sometimes we can veer a little bit away from our intuition. So sometimes, if you're in a place where you're feeling like, I feel really lost, and you start praying and praying and praying and trying to talk to your guides and meditating with your guides and like all of that stuff, and nothing is kind of happening, that 11:11 could definitely come up and show you, hey, we're here, we're listening, like that kind of thing, like the recognition. That's not the word I'm looking for. The realization that you're not alone, is that you do have guides, and they're listening to you, and they're it's usually when you call upon them, right? Like I said, prayer, meditation, like all that stuff. So they come up during that time. So that 11:11 is for that. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be an awakening. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you're on a line path. That can also be because you're calling upon them. It's the ultimate number that that your angels and your guides are there for you, especially in dark times, especially when you're calling upon them there. For extra guidance, right? Because you might be lost. It's okay to be lost, guys. Okay, it's definitely okay to be lost. But again, the angels come through with those, with other numbers, obviously. But 11:11 is knowing that they are there for you, and they're here for you when you need extra clarity, guidance, and healing. Okay. Okay, so that's the basics. You're on an aligned path. That's why 11:11 is happening. It happens a lot after our awakenings. It happens a lot when we ask for their help, and we really need angels to show us that they're present, and that kind of thing. So that is definitely the basic reasons of why 11:11 shows up. And it's always really, when I feel a little bit lost and I see that number and I'm like, okay, this decision that I recently made was a really, really good aligned one. So pay attention. Okay, cool. All right, guys, hopefully this was helpful. Does this resonate with you guys? Did you start seeing 11:11 after your awakening? I'd love to hear your stories. I always do. Please put in the comments, and I will try to get these videos out on a weekly basis. Okay, guys, love and light to everybody. All right, see you later. Bye.